America's Diesel Podcast. Hey everybody, it's Ben, Tyler, and Corey from America's Diesel Podcast, coming to you in Spokane, Washington. Great, appreciate all you guys tuning in. You can find us on all the normal podcast avenues. Also check out our Instagram. We do go live on there every Wednesday right around 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we also do have a Facebook group, which is America's Diesel Podcast - the group. Make sure you answer those 3 questions accordingly. I check all of them, trying to keep the bots out. Reviews.
Keep those reviews coming in. We are moving up slowly, but we need your help. We need your help. So review the podcast on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot your 5-star review. Send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure to include a picture of your truck and an address so we could send you a sticker. Fair trade.
Fair trade.
Fair trade.
If you need parts for your pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. It's that quick ship logo in stock, ready to rock. If you're talking to a sales technician or you're placing an order online, make sure and put in the order notes section or let your sales tech know that you're a podcast listener. Nothing exactly monetarily for you on that one, but should an issue arise with your order, we are ready to handle that lickety split for you. Because guess what, boys? We pay favorites. And if you're buying
we help
parts,
our boys out, all right?
Yeah, and if you're buying parts from us, you're our favorites, straight up.
Yeah.
Let's get this episode started.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons. And that's its main job, is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
So it was Memorial Day weekend this past weekend.
Yes, it was.
This is the second episode we filmed today, so we already had one earlier. But yes, we had Memorial Day weekend, and I figured out what was going on with the transmission on my green truck.
Not what I thought it was.
Not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Not what any of us thought it was.
I was actually kind of shocked because it just kind of doesn't make sense still in my head, but hey, it's transmissions, and we know those are powered by goblins and fairies and just sorts of magic that we don't know what happens inside there, but
cloaks and wizardry and wands and Leviosa.
Leviosa.
You're the chosen one.
Dog.
You're the chosen
So
one.
I can lock up. Lock up.
Levy lock up. It can get real weird fast. Yeah. So, for those of you need a quick, I have a fairly high mileage 2000 F250. It's got about 266 on it, 267, something like that. Can't remember. A lot. And it had developed a hellacious noise from the transmission.
Yeah.
Mark, as I rolled up to Chris's shop, Mark was like, I had no idea it was that loud. He's like, I could literally hear the rattle before the truck.
Yeah.
And it's 7.3, it's straight piped. Granted, stock exhaust with a pipe welded in, but it's not quiet.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I heard that like before I heard any engine at all. Like it piercing. I was like, yeah, I know it's loud. But he dubbed it the rattlesnake.
The rattlesnake. I like it.
He's like, it sounds like a giant Godzilla-sized rattlesnake. And then he proceeded to use Google Translate to find out how to say angry giant rattlesnake in Spanish or something like that. And and we started calling it that. I can't remember what it was though, but that's what we did. But even when I pulled up, Chris looked at me and he's like, rev it. And I'm like, I revved it. He's like, oh, flex plate. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is flex plate. I got a new one in the back. But anyways, so for those of you kind of still wondering what was going on. So I know previously in an episode, I did mention that I just was going to do a transmission swappy.
Yeah.
Because me or Tyler had pretty much me convinced that something inside the transmission.
Well, I thought it was just because of the fact it went away in reverse, right? Didn't it go away in reverse? When did it go away?
If it didn't go away, it went to basically nothing in reverse.
Yeah.
It was park, neutral, drive, doesn't change the RPM, whatever, just constant noise.
So just so you guys know, my thought process with this is like, okay, no matter what gear you're in, it's still spinning at the, like the converter and the flex plate are still spinning, like regardless of what gear you're in. So if it only does it in drive or whatever gears it did do it in, to me, that would mean more a transmission to me. But again, I'm an idiot, and I don't know transmissions all that well.
Me either.
I know enough to get myself in trouble, but not enough to diagnose an issue, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't the transmission.
Yeah, but it was something still constantly spinning.
It was something still constantly spinning, but it's just weird that it went away. I think it was reverse, you said.
Yeah, it was
right?
reverse. It went almost away.
Yeah.
Like basically away.
Yeah.
Which is, again, weird. Anyways.
Who knows?
So we get it pulled into... So big shout out, obviously, to Chris, one of our sales guys here. He also has a shop that he runs called Mountainside Diesel. It's a one-man operation out of his house. But he was kind enough to let me and Mark come over and use his lift on Saturday morning on Memorial Day weekend. He actually he did a run of the work, which is his shop. I didn't expect him to, but it was a team effort.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, can you turn my ears up just a little bit?
Is that better?
Oh, hello.
Okay. Yeah, better?
A little bit better, yes.
So we got there and we got pulled out. And so I managed, and I also, when I was getting that ready to go in the morning, I was like, well, yeah, okay, sorry, I got to back up. I'm getting too far ahead of myself.
Back it up.
So I ordered a BD flex plate, and I freaking second-dayered it to make sure I had it by the weekend.
Yeah.
Just because if I was going to have I knew I was going to pull the transmission, and this was basically a proof of concept.
Yeah.
If I pull the transmission and the flex plate's tatered, I can put the flex plate in. If I pull the transmission and the flex plate's fine, then the only other thing that it could be aside from something internally in the transmission is the torque converter. Yeah. Well, just so happens, I have an extra E4OD 4100 converter. I think it was like from my red truck. It was like his old converter, but it had low miles on it, and I knew it worked. Yeah. Because it was pulled because I was upgrading, not because it was bad.
So now your green truck has newer transmission parts than your Excursion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Is it better or not? I don't know. I will say the converter is a lot. I think it had an aftermarket converter in it because it had a drain plug in the converter.
Did it?
Yeah.
Might have just had a remanufactured one.
It might have or something. I don't know. But it
you should cut that thing. Oh, wait. We haven't gotten there yet.
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I basically was kind of like, okay, I have a flex plate. I have a converter. If we pull it out and the flex plate looks fine, I'm still going to replace it since I'm already in there and I'm known to fail. And if the converter is fine, like I can't tell anything wrong with it, I'm probably going to replace it anyways, just so I'm removing those two things from the equation.
Yep.
And if it's still something, then it's the transmission.
100%.
Pump, internals, at least I've isolated it, and now I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So we get the transmission out. Well, then also I brought I had an MBRP 4-inch kit hanging around.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you have time, maybe we'll throw it on there.
Yeah.
I took it out of the bed, and Chris was like, oh, we're doing exhaust. I was like, yeah, if we have time. I was like, fuck yeah, we have time. I'm going to straight pipe this bitch. I was like, my man. I was like, well, here's the thing, though. It's missing a part. I don't know what part. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. He's like, I've got so much extra rent. We're good. So we get the transmission out. Probably took first things first. And I also had a BD deep sump pan that I was going to put on the Excursion, which I just hadn't put on yet.
Yeah.
And I figured if I'm going to have the transmission out, I might as well put, I haven't done a fluid change on it. I'll probably put a pan on it just to get it done. And when I pulled it out too, he's like, oh, good. Because actually the stock transmission pans on 40100s and E4Ds and 50110s, they're kind of wonky in the bottom. They're not flat. He's like, so they're really hard to like strap down. So he's like, oh, you have a pan? Let's do that first because it'll be way easier to strap down. It's a nice flat bottom. I'm like, okay, cool. So we drained the fluid, and as soon as we drained the fluid, he's like, have you drained this? I was like, no, I haven't cracked it open. Like I topped it off, but that's it. And it's coming out. And even Mark wasn't even in the shop. And it starts draining, and Mark goes, that shit's burnt. Again, he was outside the shop.
Stinky.
Yeah.
ATF smells so bad,
and
when
it was
bad.
it was tared.
Yeah,
it was black, and we're looking at each other. I'm like, "Fuck, my transmission's toast.
Yeah,
it's so toast." And we're both kind of looking at each other because we're both worst case itis. And he's like, "I'll be honest, man. I've seen some hellacious stuff come out of a 4100, even in the pan, and it still fucking runs fine." So 4100s,
they're stout.
They're stout. Like, I mean, we're not going to send like 550 through this thing or like that. But I mean, if this thing just needs to drive, like, I bet you it's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. So we pulled the pan off, and I didn't get a chance to take a picture of the magnet, but the magnet did not look like a donut anymore.
Yeah.
It was just a big fuzz.
Yeah.
Just a big blob.
Like an afro.
Like a
fuzz.
sea urchin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of material on that one.
Yeah.
So we threw the new pan on there and dropped the transmission along with the transfer case. And we're looking at the flex plate. He and I are looking at it, we're like, so I've seen on videos flex plates that are tatered. You've seen them. Do you see any cracks? He's like, I don't see shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It might be the transmission.
It might be the transmission. So we unbolt it and like take it out in the sunlight, and I'm like holding it, trying to find some cracks and like banging it on things to try and like hear the rattle or anything like that. And it's like perfect harmonics, perfectly fine. I'm like, fuck, well now I have a known good flex plate. And the transmission was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
And the converter was still in the transmission. I hadn't pulled it out yet. And so we took a break, go grab some water, and come back and it cooled down for a minute. So I pulled the converter off, and it was so hot, like I pulled it off, basically like dropped it on the bucket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Well, I shook it while I was in the transmission, didn't hear anything, spun it, didn't hear anything. And while I was sitting there on the bucket, I'm like, I grab the snout and shake it. Conk, 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 conk. I'm like,
pretty sure it shouldn't do that.
that's pretty. Like I haven't replaced a converter in a while, but I know that when I pick them up, they don't fucking make that noise.
Yeah.
And Chris was walking back in, and I'm like, "Hey, Chris, check this out." He comes over, like, conk, conk, conk. He's like, "Oh fuck, that's not supposed to do that."
Yeah.
And I posted on my my Instagram the video of it. It's like a very
pronounced.
That's the noise.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm pretty sure the stator is just fucking flopping around and they're doing God knows what. Fins are all fucked. Like
I'm sure. You should cut that thing open and look at it.
I don't know a core on it. Like I'm debating cutting it open and looking at it.
Yeah.
Because I never cut open a converter before. So I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm not sure. So then we put the old converter in. We managed to manhandle the exhaust back on there and get the flex plate on, which we torqued to you want to guess what the bolts were torqued to?
2 Ugga Duggas.
No, you want what the spec is?
Yeah, what's the spec?
69 foot-pounds.
Is it really?
Yeah. First, they were torqued down with 2 very light Ugga Duggas and a star pattern. And then torqued down, and I probably torqued each one of those down because I reused the bolts again. Oh, you're supposed to.
This thing's making 43 horsepower.
Yeah, it barely fucking moves. And again, this is proof of concept. I'm not saying I'm never getting into the transmission again, but I want this thing running and driving. I want to go into summer knowing I have a running and driving truck. Just I don't want this thing in my driveway hanging around anymore. I want to start driving it.
Right.
So we got that all torqued down and got the transmission stabbed back in. Just threw in an entire case of O'Reilly's premium ATF.
Okay.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Mark, I pulled it out. Mark's like, "What the fuck, man? Why don't you get Schaefer's?" And I was like, "Mark, look at this truck."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a Schaefer's guy.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, yes, I get discounts on Schaefer's, and Schaefer's usually ends up being my cost around what good normal transmission fluid is for most people.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I got a feeling I'm going to be in this transmission again. Not a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this thing's never been flushed.
Yeah.
So guess what? It's getting cheap shit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what we're going to do. And, I mean, we blow the lines with compressed air and shit like that. And again, black as fuck coming out. But we were like 5 quarts shy because the pan was deep. And I was in a rush to get over there because I was a little bit late because I grabbed breakfast burritos and a bottle of Maker's Mark. Yeah. It was a Saturday. And so I was about 5 quarts shy. So if I ran on a corner too fast, it wouldn't engage. Yeah. But
just taking care of that transmission.
Yeah. Oh, and then Chris is like, "You got a filter?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "Do you have one?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Just throw the old one back in." I'm like, "Fuck." Once again, I have a feeling I'm going to be in this thing again real soon.
Well, you're trying to. What is it with you and pulling transmissions? You just love it, apparently.
But you're going to be getting a order sheet come through pretty soon, and one of them includes a 6-pack of transmission filters because it's just cheaper that way.
Yeah.
I got a thing with 4R100s.
Apparently,
might as well have 6 on hand.
Yeah.
But so I drove it home, and I got the straight pipe on there. Freaking love the way it sounds, like a big old box of rocks just chugging down the road.
Yeah,
you're working well. And the other thing there too is, so I ordered a like any good diesel owner does, have transmission issues, ordered a tuner. So I picked up a
that'll fix it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to watch stuff.
Yeah,
so I was going to put that on there at first, just to be able to monitor things. I got an Edge Evolution CS2, like not the touchscreen, just the color screen, the buttons. I didn't realize how small they are.
They're small, but they're still nice.
I like it. Yeah. Like I always picture them being like iPhone 5 size or something like that, but they're skinnier and they're shorter.
Yeah,
they're way smaller than I thought, and I actually really enjoy it. I like that it's small.
Yeah,
and also I kind of like the buttons. Like the touchscreen's cool. I like the buttons, man.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of fit it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I went to go install that, knowing that I had an Edge old school Game Boy tune on there, and I have the tuner, but the screen's fucked.
Yeah.
So I could plug it in and it lights up, and I can beep 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 beep.
Can't say anything.
Can't tell what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm adjusting. I don't know what I'm deleting. I don't know what I'm doing. And I tried multiple things. You're gonna laugh at me, but like I even tried putting the unit in the freezer, thinking like maybe the screen, like if I like chilled it down, I could see it at a certain angle and just kind of see what I was doing.
Have you seen those guys use? I believe they are, like basically like a sparker for for like a barbecue. Yeah. So it just puts out that little bit of current. I've seen guys with like screens in their. I've seen this on Instagram with like, like they have a radio or whatever, and it's got like, it's trying to show a number, but it's got, parts of that number missing. They hit it with that, and it like comes back.
Oh. I mean, I might
just throw some electricity to it.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I tried everything. I tried waiting till it was nighttime.
Yeah.
I tried like holding at a really shallow angle with a flashlight, or like trying to like catch any sort of glimmer.
Did you try to like hit it?
I did, actually.
You did.
I whacked on the dashboard a couple of times. I hit the screen like with my finger. Like just didn't work. But I was like, okay, well, and as far as I knew, like I was pretty sure that the Edge Evolution would just tune over whatever I had on there, or it would pull the file out and save that as the stock file and then put its own tune on. But it didn't. It said like, vehicle has been tuned. Please contact Edge, which I did. And thank you, Mark and Jacob over there. They got me taken care of super quick. And Kurt over there. Yeah. They were able to get me a stock file to throw on there, which I was able to use and then load the Evolution on there actually last night, which was Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But also I didn't know that there's like all these different parameters with an Edge Evolution that you can change inside the tune. Like I can customize the tune.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I've always gone straight to custom tuning. And this is honestly like part of the reason I went with this particular tuner is I've never ran an Edge Evolution. Like I had that Juice of Attitude on the Excursion first.
Yeah. And
usually I go straight to like a Hydra with gearhead because I'm usually doing custom tuning for injectors and stuff like that. But I know that I'm not going to be doing injectors on this until it needs it.
Yeah.
And until the time comes, I need a monitor. And they just dropped the price on CS2s. And I was like, I've always wanted a CS2, but when in the past on the old pricing, when you look at the pricing compared to like an Insight, I was like, I know the Evolution costs more, but I'm thinking to myself like, well, if I'm going to get, and I might as well get something with tunes on there so I have it till I need something. Yeah. But the price ends up being like a wash. So you might as well just get the CTS2 or CTS3 and then get a Hydra with custom tunes. But it happened to work out this time. I'm very excited. I got it all set up last night and it's good to go.
Perfect.
But I'm not driving it.
Yeah.
And that's because I was actually pretty happy because I drove it home Saturday. It's just sheet-eating grin. And I've got boost leaks. And obviously when we had the transmission out, the up pipes, they are leaking for sure.
Yeah.
Like I can see the soot coming out.
Yeah.
And it's got a check engine light and it's low on power. Even for a 7.3, it's low on power.
Wow.
Yeah. Barely moves, right? 37s and 373s, up pipes leaking, low on power.
Wow.
That's like fucking moves.
It's like 28 horsepower to the rear wheels.
Barely moves. But I was all excited. And so the day that we actually went to where the next day when my the picture I showed of my son with his,
Yeah.
his ass all fucked up from his electric bike. We actually drove there in that truck. So I got the car seats in the back. And I should show you a picture because you always make fun of me for raising giants and extended cab.
Yeah.
You should see the extended cab with car seats in it. It's fucking comical.
Is it?
If my kids get any bigger, I'm fucked.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
You stuff him back there and he'll be just fine.
But my son was all stoked because he's in his little booster seat in the middle and he can see out the windshield. He's all excited. My daughter, she's about a year and a half old. Her car seat doesn't fit backwards, so she's supposed to be technically rear facing if you can, but the car seat doesn't fit, so she's forward facing. But in the back seat, she was just ecstatic, being able to watch everything.
Yeah.
And since it is an extended cab, they're like really close to the back seats.
Yeah.
So like when I turn around, like I can I barely put my hand out and I can touch her.
Yeah.
Or hand her food or anything like that.
Shut up.
We can look at each other, make faces at each other and stuff like that. So she was just all about it, just squealing, just having a great time.
Yeah.
And I was all happy and everything. The family in there. I mean, the AC works, the stereo works. I got it all cleaned up. It felt good. It's fucking tall truck. My wife was like having trouble jumping in. I'm like, no fat chicks. Yeah. Just like having like the inner 22-year-old Ben's like super stoked right now.
Yeah.
And we go to leave and I need to turn the headlights on. And I turn them on and we're like, I should clearly see headlights on the wall that I'm facing. I barely see anything. I know they're hazed over. I'm like, man, I don't see shit.
Yeah.
And I turn the high beams on. I'm like, okay, I see something.
Yeah.
And so I just turn the headlights on. I walk over to the front of the truck, and the driver's side has nothing. And the driver's side has one. I turn the high beams on. They both come on. I'm like, well, I guess I'm driving home with high beams on. But I mean, they're hazed over, so I mean, they honestly don't look that bright.
Well, compared to like new trucks and shit, like I would get flashed all the time in my Eco Diesel.
Yeah.
But yeah, screw it. Who cares?
So I drove home. And the next morning, okay, well, I'm just going to do some basic diagnosing here, see what's going on. Maybe it's a bulb, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, something, I don't know. So first thing I do is the basics. It's got the 0507 headlight conversion on there. So I'm like, okay, I bet you one of the connections for one of the low beams is fucked.
Yeah.
So first thing I do, I happen to have an extra bulb, change the bulb out. Same thing. But I happen to notice this time that since I have the bulb out and I turn the headlights on, the low beam is like barely glowing. So it's getting some sort of juice.
Yeah.
But not enough. And I, high beam still going. I'm like, huh. So I try another bulb. I'm like, I tried that bulb in the other socket. It works. Bring this one back. It doesn't work. I'm like, fuck. And so I'm like looking back and I peel the, sheathing back to where the connections are. I'm looking at it. I'm like, that's fine. Get a voltmeter out, kind of check resistance between one and the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check resistance between like ground and high beam. Good to go. Resistance between ground and low beam. Like, okay, well, I got a short somewhere.
Yeah.
Great. 20-year-old harness. Like, let's get to fucking work here. So
Yeah.
I start looking at it and I'm like, well, what can I see? I can see a little bit going in and then it goes through a big old harness and then basically goes through the firewall.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Let's, again, basics. Check all fuses. Get the owner's manual out. Start Googling stuff. Make sure all the fuses are good. Make sure all that's good. Double check those, voltmeter, all that kind of shit. Just crossing my T's, dot my I's before I go like short hunting,
Yeah.
Pull the switch out of the dash, make sure that's good, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's pretty much verified. I got a short. And I know it's like between here and here.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like opening this 20-year-old harness up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to look for one wire.
I meant to mention this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a power probe you can borrow.
Does it have one of those little sniffers on it?
I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Okay. Because I know that they make like a short sniffer.
Yeah.
Where like you connect the two ends of the line.
Yeah.
And it basically sends a pulsating signal, and then it has a detector that you run across, and as that beep 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 beep
finds
beep,
the
beep, beep,
short.
beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
beep,
like a
beep.
metal detector.
And basically it senses the pulsing, and where the pulsing gets weak or changes, okay, probably something going on there.
Yeah.
And I would much rather tear open a harness like in a 4-inch section,
Right.
than have to
versus-
open up a 20-year-old harness.
Yeah.
Which I'm probably going to end up shorting out a whole bunch of other fucking wires.
Yeah.
And have to fix everything, and like. There's not enough electrical tape in the fucking world to put this thing back together.
Right.
Like, I just don't feel like doing this right now.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted one of those tools. I'm like, well, I've got an excuse now. So I'm actually getting ready. I was on one of the orders going to be for the Power Probe 4 Master Kit, which includes like the newest Power Probe, as well as one of those little sniffer things. So I might give that a shot. I'm not sure, but that's why I haven't driven it yet, which I'm kind of bummed about.
Yeah.
But on that list, I've also got some up pipes on there. And since I know what's wrong, like the transmission's good enough to go now, I feel okay doing a little bit, some other stuff. I was finally able to read the check engine lights. I'm pretty sure my map sensor is completely fucked because that light gets tripped almost immediately every time.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to drive it with the edge on there yet, so I haven't been able to watch like map and boost to see, because I guarantee the exhaust back pressure tube going up to that sensor is probably all clogged up too.
Yeah.
So it's probably getting some really bad readings and trying to figure shit out. So I'm probably going to have to get in there and clean that stuff out and maybe ohm out the map sensor, see what's going on. Or here's the beauty of having two trucks with the same engine.
Pull one off and put it on. Yeah.
My Excursion has a pretty good map sensor. Throw it on there. Check engine light goes away. Boom. Isolated the problem. This is exactly why I did this.
Yeah.
This is exactly why I wanted to have two of the same damn platform, so I could do that exactly.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. But yeah, so far I'm actually very happy with that truck right now. It does need some suspension love on there because it rides like shit. I also definitely do need tires on there. They're old enough to vote.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as suspension goes, it'll probably be getting a probably like a 4.5 inch BDS kit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I want to do tire size yet. I really enjoyed the fact that my Excursion does not rub tires.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not going to go so big I'm going to rub tires, but I may try and find a beefy 35, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I have to go metric sizes, I will, but like it's got 17 Black Rhino wheels on there now. So yeah, I may try and find a beefy 35 to kind of like round out the look.
Yeah.
Kind of really like the idea of 37s, but also really don't want to regear.
Right.
And it needs to be regeared really bad, especially with what I want to do with it. But
well, if you drop it down, put 35s on there, it'll still look good.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
as long as
and then get that bumper redone.
yeah, it's coming around.
It's coming
I'm liking what's happening with the truck right now.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it. But Corey also did some wrenching this weekend. What do you got going on?
So we have the truck show coming up.
That's right. Yep.
By the time this comes out, it'll already have been done and over with. But I wanted to get the trailer like fully cleaned because Boys Weekend like did a number on it.
Yeah.
So I had the intentions of grabbing the trailer, actually washing it instead of just like pressure washing it, like actually putting some soap and everything to it. Sweeping off the deck, making sure like all the dirt is off of the deck. And so I pick up my Toyota, the trailer and everything, and I bring it back home, and I'm pulling the Toyota off the trailer, and all I hear is like this metal on metal sound.
Oh no.
And I was like, this is not good. Like I didn't hear this like at Boys
Loading
Weekend.
it up, yeah.
So I pull the Toyota off, I park it, and I clean the trailer off. And clean the trailer, take that as I'm taking the trailer back, Friday I got a call from the wife saying like her Subaru threw a code. And I was like, okay, this is great. So the lesbian mobile ended up having a P0500 code, which is speed sensor. And I was like, well, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. Except it was actually alternator overcharging the battery. So the alternator was bad, the battery was bad, causing the P0500. Luckily, both were covered under warranty. So for a grand total of $15, I fixed a lesbian mobile.
Perfect. Perfect. Grand total of
Thrifty.
$15.
Yeah. For less than the cost of a Cosmo, you fixed it.
Yeah. So we got that handled. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to tackle into the Toyota right now. I'll let it stew. So Sunday comes around, and I was planning on like cleaning up the wheels and everything anyway. So I get it jacked up. I pull off the wheels, and the brakes are just caked.
In mud.
Just caked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you've seen the picture. But
No, I haven't.
absolutely freaking caked.
You should try and post that.
Oh
Yeah.
my Lord.
Yeah, basically from caliper to rotor hat. Just
Wow, my brakes on the side-by-side weren't even that bad.
All 4 corners.
No shit.
Yeah. Absolutely
Wow.
just caked.
Just packed in there.
So, I mean, that's a sigh of relief pretty much because I was like,
Do you know
I
what that
thought
was
something-
probably from? Is
when I got stuck in that mud hole.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly where that was from. Which that mud hole was a sketchy, like, sinkhole weird. Remember when we went through it going down?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was weird. That we slowed down really quick in that.
That's the
Yeah.
mud
Like, that
hole
was
that got
like just
Chris.
a mud hole. Yeah.
That's the one that got Chris the
Yeah.
first time. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where that came from, I guarantee. That mud
Absolutely.
is so freaking sticky up there.
Yeah.
So sticky.
So yeah, we got all the mud cleaned out of the brakes, and I pulled the calipers off just for good measure, and
Yeah.
yeah, luckily everything's good.
Perfect. Well, good. That would have been shitty if something
Yeah,
broke on the trailer on the way home.
right on the trailer.
Because it was fine when you parked it up there. Oh man.
was there any other battle wounds or anything like that on the Forerunner from the weekend or
From Boyd's weekend, no.
yeah. Good.
Clutch is driving just fine. It still feels like it releases too far up for me though.
Is there an adjustment on that?
I don't know how to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is tits.
Perfect.
If you find any sort of issues on the passenger front as far as like wheel contacting stuff, that was me. It's me.
Hard to say because
Yeah.
I flexed that boy out.
Okay, good to know. 'Cause when I took Tyler up, yeah, there was
We found the rubbing point.
yeah. We bounded up and the tire was rubbing and I was like, well, I mean, we can't go backwards right now, so we're just
Power
gonna
through.
very slowly and like take the hand off the wheel, like whichever way it wants to go. This is the path of least resistance right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when we went through that part that everyone, well, not everyone, but a majority of people were like getting stuck through,
Yeah.
where we got stuck on the way back where I had to winch through. Yeah, that thing was flexy boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So what's next on the Forerunner?
next on the Forerunner, I'm going to go hood pins because we had the issue with the latch, and hood pins is the only logical
Yeah, makes sense.
fix for that. A battery that fits, obviously. And
Battery
then
that fits, or just make the battery you have fit better.
I'm just going to get a battery that fits.
Okay.
It's probably cheaper than trying to fabricate something out. So maybe not. I don't know. I do need to get extinguishers for We Rock. My helmet came in yesterday,
Nice.
so I got my helmet now. And then after that, I'm gonna give it a little break and do We Rock, and it'll probably do well at We Rock. And kind of cruise for a little bit and work on the actual like the GMC. So that's where I want to do the.
That's right. So transitioning,
Yeah.
you got kind of a game plan.
Kind of a game plan.
Okay.
We'll see how it works out, but right now the plan is to go with a BDS, the coilover kit without the coilovers, and then go with the ADS shocks.
So just because everybody's going to ask, why not the coilovers?
Just because the lift height is going to be too much for a gas engine.
They're diesel specific.
Yeah, diesel specific. Too much of a lift for gas.
For those of you wondering, I always forget, is it 15 or 16?
15, but she cleaned like a 16.
Yeah, she's clean as 16. Yep. Yeah, it's got a 15 GMC 2500.
Yep.
Crew cab, short bed, 6.0 gas motor.
Normal bed,
it
short
normal?
bed. Yeah, normal.
It's not. I know it's not the chode bed,
right,
but it's not an 8-foot bed.
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the 6'4" bed or something like that.
That's going to be his tow rig. It is his tow rig.
Yeah.
So, and it's time to get that thing level in the front and then get some bags in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get there.
Dude, that's going to be cool.
I think
Coilers in the
so.
front. Coilers in the front are going to be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be. It's going to be a cool rig.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not
I
gonna
agree.
lie. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. The thing's going to ride nice.
It will.
Especially, leaf spring Ford fam here. Your truck's going to ride really nice.
It will, yeah. Yeah, the valuing's going to be key. So.
Yeah. Well, right on, man.
Sorry, I had a burp. I didn't know what was going on there. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much where we got to as far as The green truck title's supposed to come anytime now. Got insurance on it and all that kind of shit.
Good deal.
But
Good deal.
I'm very. Is your truck? Did you change your diff fluid?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Don't lie to me. You didn't do it.
Of course I didn't.
He's going to
It's
do the
fine.
airlift bags. Come on.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Gosh, you guys.
Airlift
Just
bags. Come on.
I'm
Just
actually
do
probably
it.
going to change the transmission fluid before I change the diff fluid.
I'd get on board with that. 100%.
To be fair, after looking at those brakes, it's probably not a bad idea for me to look at the diff fluid too for the Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you got that soupy and caked, probably a good idea. And I don't know what your breather tube situation's like, but it may be worth thinking about making sure that you got those routed up nice and high.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's already taken care of.
I'm sure it is. I'm Jesse's got experience. I'm sure he is, and you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be probably the guy that was like, yeah, that's probably good enough. And then after the first time it goes, I'm like, okay, I'm that guy that has these up on the, basically ran all the way above my head.
Yeah.
So that I know if my head's wet, then that's wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be that guy.
Fair
100%.
enough.
Well, I think that's going to about wrap this one up. It's kind of a short one, but I want to give you guys an update on what's going on with our projects.
Yeah.
I do have two things that I'm getting ready to do on the bed of my green truck. One is I'm getting a toolbox to fit around the fuel tank.
Yeah.
And I got my bed liner. I gotta
You
put
get your
that
bed
in.
liner.
Get that put in.
Yeah.
She's gonna be all right.
It's going to be minchy.
She's gonna be a working truck.
Yeah.
Working
yeah.
truck with that straight pot.
Yeah.
Got that straight pot.
What is it called? The rattlesnake?
The rattlesnake.
The rattlesnake.
Yeah.
With no bite. It's like a defanged rattlesnake.
Yeah.
The garden snake.
It's a garden snake. That's what it should be called. The garden snake.
It's green too. It's perfect.
Yeah.
We gotta find out what snakes are green with a black belly
That are completely harmless, super slow,
and loud as fuck.
Loud as fuck.
Maybe a little retarded. I don't know.
Why don't we just call it the slug?
The snail. I mean, I do have a turtle on my desk, and apparently so do. I didn't know this, but apparently a lot of other 7.3 guys tend to have turtles on their desks.
Oh, I wonder why.
I wonder why too. Like we did a video and I had a turtle on my desk, and Alec at 7.3 was like,
Dude, I got a turtle.
Is that a turtle? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're never gonna fucking believe this. It's like, I got a turtle on my desk, and so does I know one other guy in the industry that's 7.3 that has a turtle on his desk. I'm like, fuck.
It only makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah, that's gonna about wrap this episode, boys. And one girl, at least Mitch's wife, maybe other girls, I don't know. If you're a female and you listen to this, like, sound off. I'd like to know if we actually do have any sort of like actual female listeners. I know Rich or Mitch's wife is an actual female. That's not what I mean, but like,
We'll probably get canceled after you just now called it out, like for female listeners, and then they're gonna listen to one episode and be offended, and then
probably make me a sandwich.
I completely thought you were going to ask why they listened.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, why? That's a good question. Why? I kind of know why Mitch's wife does, partially because she wants to make fun of me, and because Mitch does, and she's also, I'd say she's fairly a gearhead. But if there's any other actual girls that are listening, like, fuck's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
Yeah.
How did we make it on your list and stay there? There's no reason for us to be there.
No, none at all.
I'm not saying stop.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why
Yeah.
we're not that good. Anyways, I greatly appreciate all you guys tuning in, even the 3 chicks that do, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.